Hi guys, welcome back to the Butterfly Effect podcast. You've read the title of the video, so you know it's Totems versus Tarot cards versus the various pictures of the Dark Pictures Anthology. Now, throughout these games, we get to look at premonitions, and they're presented in different manners. So we basically just asked you which one you think was best. So, Jack, take it away. Let us know how the poll went.
Yeah, so obviously what we've got here is there's 250 votes, and thank you to each and every one of you who did vote in this poll. And the totems came out on top with 48%. In second place, it was the pictures with 33%, and the tarot cards came last with 19%. I mean, as a reaction, mate, are you surprised by that at all?
You know what? I am actually. Tarot cards I get, like for me, they're probably full bottom as well. So I would put them there. Pull the Quarry. It falls last in a lot of our ranks actually. But yeah, I don't know. Totems, like interesting to me. We'll get into it later when we give our opinions. But I wonder if that is a classic case of us being blinded by nostalgia. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I guess we'll get into the comments and see why totems are so popular, mate. How about you?
Yeah, let's do it. I mean,
So I've got a comment here from underscore 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 close bracket open bracket. Love the name. Who says, I liked the art style of the tarot cards and the different paths you can choose, but I feel like Until Dawn's totem system is the best premonition collectible we have gotten so far. Most premonitions are clear, organised in appropriate categories, and there is incentive to get them via a reward that unlocks a video giving more info on the background of the game. That is true. If you collect the tarot cards, you get bonus features. So that is really good that the Until Dawn gives that. And yeah, like the totems, they're just a really cool thing. And I think what this guy touches on is something that is really important. That is something that definitely bleeds into picking your choice, is that the premonitions do have to be clear and organized in appropriate categories. I think that is a really good criteria to base your vote off of. So thank you very much for voting. Underscore underscore underscore.
I had no idea about that. I mean, obviously I'm not on PS4, so like I'm going to be a little bit more in terms of knowledge wise of Until Dawn, a little bit less. But you unlock a video for getting more totems on the back.
Yeah, you get bonus contents. Yeah, like you get videos, like interviews with all like the cast and stuff. It's pretty neat. Yeah.
Oh, fuck, that's well good. Damn, I did not know that. I've got a comment in here from the awesome dude who says the pictures are my favourite. The totems are the coolest, but only work in Until Dawn setting, and the tarots are way too restrictive in the sense that it has to show you what the card represents. And yeah, honestly, I'll give you my view in a little while, but I can honestly see the logic here. I mean, with Until Dawn, what I do like is that, yeah, obviously has the whole like Native American sort of background thing going on with like the whole Wendigo lore and just like where it's based and such. And again, with like the tarot cards, again it fits in nicely with like the Quarry and of course like the role of Liza in the plot. And I think conceptually they're all very good ideas. But yeah, thanks a lot, awesome dude.
We have Venomace here who says totems, and it's not even close. Basically saying that the premonitions of the other two games are a little bit vague, but with Until Dawn, it gives you a clear warning of death, fortune, the different categories. So yeah, that is true. Like Until Dawn, obviously, as most categories, there's 5 different ones. It splits between, like you mentioned, there's death, fortune, loss, etc. So yeah, like I definitely think, yeah, you're onto something there, Venomace, and your reasoning is very good.
I thought, you know what, I'd pick one that really like championed the tarot cards. So I've got a comment here from Micah Let's Play, who says, I absolutely adored the Quarry with the tarot cards. I thought it was very unique and interesting. You know what I would say is that, yeah, on an aesthetic level, I think the tarot cards are very good. And you know what, even when you're in with Eliza and you do choose to look at them, the fact that, I know this is a little bit more than the actual tarot card itself, but you go into the crystal ball. I think that was just such a good way of delivering premonition. And of course, even when walking round to find the tarot cards, the camera angle changes as well. So like they definitely like mixed it up in comparison to the totems and the pictures. So yeah, I can understand the love for the tarot cards.
And the final comment we have Aurelia Gasparini, Mama Madre, who says all.
I mean, okay, mate, did you want to pick yours first and give your reasoning? What's your favourite?
Yeah, you know what? It's really weird. I'm kind of on the fence between my favourite two. I know I should give a clear-cut answer. So I kind of I agree. Tarot for me are the worst. You know what? The more I think about it, the more I do think I prefer Totems. I think there's a bit more going on. But I actually, at the time, I did vote for various pictures. I mean, how about you, mate?
You know what? I didn't realise I was going to vote for what I voted for. But in the end, when I was trying to think about it objectively, I did actually vote for the Dark Pictures. I don't know if you're going to have the same logic, because obviously I know you said that you were on the fence between that and Totems, but I'll sort of give you my logic. So again, like I said in reply to Micah's comment, I think conceptually the idea of the tarot cards, very good. Even aesthetically, very good. The problem with it is the functionality. I think it's so shit that you can go and find these premonitions and you can only pick one. I feel like if you've gone out your way to find all of them, you should be able to watch all of them. I mean, there's nothing stopping you. I think that as well would help the Eliza scenes. Obviously, it's just my opinion, but I feel like the Eliza scenes are quite lacking. And even when you do get a tarot card, all she does is reads the little description of the card itself, and you could literally identify that if you hit the pause menu, you could pick it out. There's not really as much of a relationship with Eliza for me as there was with Dr. Hill in Until Dawn, say. So I think that's ultimately why I think maybe the tarots fall last. Now talking about the totems, again, aesthetically great. And as we've said already, it fits in with the whole theme of Until Dawn, the whole Native American thing. The problem with it for me is the fact that there are too many categories. I know people seem to love it because you've got a danger category, isn't there a guidance one, and loss and all this. I think that ultimately the premonitions, what people want to know is about life and death situations. And that's why I didn't choose Totems in the end. And ultimately why I went for the Dark Pictures, because it's very cut and dry. You've got pictures with a white frame, which signifies, that this is a good thing, this is what you want to happen. There are pictures with a black frame, which signifies a death. Of course, as well, in the games themselves, they can be different. So we know in Man of Medan and The Devil in Me, they are actually picture frames. But in Little Hope, they come across as postcards, and then in House of Ashes, they come across as tablets. So it's not like they're just picture frames for the whole thing. They do actually change according to the universe that they're dropped into. So I really can't see a flaw with the Dark Pictures, whereas perhaps I do see a flaw with the other two. But yeah, that's my logic, mate.
Yeah, no, very good stuff. I mean, what I'll do is I'll just kind of go from them, one by one, and kind of just give a little bit of an outline about the pros and cons of them. I mean, we'll start with the worst ranked one, which is the tarots. And I completely agree with your point that it does suck that you don't get to read all of them. Am I right in thinking that you can pick up 3 tarot cards in a chapter and you only get to look at 1, so 2 you don't know what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And it is a bit of a gut punch. I do think that, you should be able to get what you collect, your value for that. One thing I kind of want to defend the tarots on, I really like the fact that the tarot cards, the premonitions, are linked to the narrator. I feel if you took that away from Eliza, her scenes would be even more lackluster than they already are. It is it's not done to perfection, I will admit that, but for example, the totems aren't linked to Dr. Hill in any way. So I do appreciate that the Quarry went for a different path and it had 2 features going on and it linked them. I thought that was kind of a smart move, actually. And, they went in the whole theme, Eliza's tarot cards are written. And it even gives a little bit of backstory about how the explosion kind of scatters the tarot cards around. You might not like that because it's a bit weird that, you know, for example, a tarot card ends up flying in like the Hackett house upstairs, for example. I do get that is a little far-fetched, but I do quite like the concept of it. But I do agree that, you know, it wasn't the best in that sense, that you couldn't look at all of them. I think someone as well commented on one of the Reddit comments as well, and I kind of agree with it. I like the fact that you see things through a crystal ball, but visually it was a little murky and tough to see. So it was really difficult to, you know, work out what some premonitions were trying to actually tell you. So yeah, like, I do think that is a massive flaw with the Quarry. I don't know if you agree with that, Jack.
You know what? It's a really good point that you've brought up about the whole matching with the narrator as a theme. I didn't think of that, because I think obviously with Until Dawn, they've obviously gone just with the Native American angle, haven't they? But yeah, like the fact that they have brought it in with Eliza, and of course she's the fortune teller, which is part of the circus, which again is part of the backdrop. Yeah, like that is a valid point. I do take that.
Yeah, like, you know, I feel like Eliza needs something, and I feel like those tarot cards were a great way of doing that. But I do agree certain bits of the execution weren't brilliant, you know. We'll go for the various pictures, because that finished second. Now, I guess why I voted it at the time is because I loved the different presentations. Like you mentioned, Jack, House of Ashes, it's presented on these, like, ancient tablets. Man of Medan, it's various different, like, ship pictures and stuff, and it's fairly simple, you know. You've got black, white, and gold based off of if it's a good premonition, a bad premonition, or maybe a little teaser and spoiler for, like, the next upcoming game. Quite simplistic, but I quite like it, and I think it does a very good job of tying the themes to the different games. Like, for example, The Devil in Me, you always get, like, a little bit of a medical thing, like one with, like, maybe a heart on it, or, like, a skull. And, you know, I thought that was really neat, and it's nice that the Dark Pictures aren't completely uniform. They still have some character linking it to the theme of that game. But yeah, I'll go to Totems. I mean, I actually quite like the fact that there's 5 different categories of, like, you know, danger, loss, death, fortune, that kind of stuff. Maybe 5 is a bit too much, so I will kind of agree with you on that one. Maybe, like, they definitely watered it down, made it a lot more simplistic. But I don't know, I just weirdly found it was cool that you go to a totem and it's like, oh, I've got a yellow one, it means this, or brown, I've got a lost totem coming up. So yeah, like, it was really cool. Visually, totems are always going to remind me of Until Dawn. Like, Until Dawn have, like, held their claim on totems for me now. If I see a totem outside, I'm like, I just think Until Dawn. So it really is cool that it has that effect. I really am struggling to tell you if I prefer various pictures or totems. I know a lot of the comments Jack mentioned about the quality of the premonitions. I don't think I can comment on the premonitions, because I think every single game you've got them, like, misleading, like, ones. Like, we look at the various pictures, you know, you've got, like, the Jamie one and The Devil in Me, right, where she's getting crushed against the wall, right? Yeah. Now, that could be a bad premonition. You could argue that that shouldn't be in there. But I also think there's some, you know, premonitions in there which offer next to nothing. Like, one that's, like, in Until Dawn with a totem has, like, a Wendigo, you know, like, reaching out of a cell to scratch, like, Mike. Like, you can't really get too much from that. And then, like, again, various pictures, you've got, like, Man of Medan, you've got, like, a hallucination of, like, a demon when it's actually a character. So, like, it is really difficult for the games, I think, to bring out a premonition which is clear, and I don't think they can help you and hold your hand too much, so some of them have to be certainly vague. So I don't think I can really comment on the quality of the totems, but I can comment on how they're linked to the story and kind of, like, the presentation of them. And I guess I picked the various pictures just because I simply like the fact that we get different things going on. Like, when we get Directive 8020, what are we going to get? Is it going to be, like, in the form of, like, I don't know, like, space text, like, on these, like, futuristic tablets? It could really be anything, you know? So, yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what that happens.
Yeah, no, to be honest, that's exactly what I thought with Directive 8020. I could almost imagine it, yeah, being almost like a futuristic tablet that's maybe got, like, a little hologram popping out of it, like a 3D way. That's how I imagine it, and maybe you, like, zoom into that and then you get, you know, the premonition and such. But yeah, like, in terms of the quality of the premonitions, I guess it comes back to that point. why I ultimately picked the pictures, although like we've said already that there's flaws within that. But with the Until Dawn ones, like, because there's so many categories, and you said already about the Wendigo like grabbing Mike, I don't feel like there's any real consequence to that. So because Mike always makes it to the lodge anyway, so it's almost like a waste of a premonition. I mean, I know I'm literally picking on this one right here. Like, there's probably examples, in the Dark Pictures which are the same thing. But obviously, just by going like what you mentioned, I feel like because there's so many categories, it's like, I don't know. I don't really care about anything else. I just want to know, like, is it going to keep me alive? Is it going to kill me? I think that's what ultimately swayed me over to the pictures in the end. So
yeah, of course. So I guess it depends what you're looking for in your premonitions, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice though that we always get these different styles. Whenever we get our next blockbuster alongside Until Dawn and the Quarry, I really am intrigued to see what they do with that. It's such a cool feature Supermassive Games give us, and it's nice that they toy about with it a little bit. But yeah, just again, as Jack mentioned, thank you to the 250 people who voted. Thank you to the multiple of you that could comment. Sorry we couldn't, cover all of them for time purposes, but we really appreciate the support and, your insights that you gave us. Anything to add there, Jack?
No, that's all from me. Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, guys. We'll see you in the future.